August 18th, around 2:38 p.m. Just arrived here in Round Rock, Texas. I'm about to go knock on some doors and sell some solar. All right, y'all, we're out here in Round Rock in a random neighborhood knocking on doors. It's probably about 100 degrees right now, so it's pretty toasty today. Gotta have that sunscreen on. In the first 5 minutes of being out here, my iPad overheated. Door number one, no answer. On to the next one. Residential solar is by far the most lucrative product you can sell going door to door. It's not uncommon for a single system to cost between $30,000 and $50,000 each, and it's also not uncommon for a sales rep to be making a 25% commission on every single sale. Now, obviously, it'll vary depending on the company you're working for, but do the math there, and when you're working with numbers that large, an average commission will be between $5,000, $10,000, and $15,000 each. So in this video, I'm going to go over how I got into solar, the specific solar job that I had, what the commissions were, what the day-to-day life was like being a door-to-door solar salesperson, and of course, how much I actually made over the course of about 2 months last summer here in Austin, Texas. And if y'all don't already know, the solar industry right now is just absolutely booming. The cost of solar has finally come down to a price point to where it actually makes sense to go ahead and get it installed on a residential home to save money on your electricity over the next 10 or 20 years. Whereas in the past, the only reason why people were getting solar was because they lived off grid or because they're wanting to use a cleaner source of energy, but they would actually be paying more than what the electricity was costing them. And that's a great reason to be in the solar industry now, is that it kind of sells itself. I do love helping people transition over to a renewable source of energy, but with that said, as we all know, the main motivation for a lot of people is money and saving money. So how the sale works is you figure out how much somebody is paying for electricity and then project out the total amount of money they'll spend on their electricity over the next 20 years or so, which is usually tens of thousands of dollars, if not over $100,000, just depending on where they are in the country and what their electricity rates are. We'll then design a solar system for them, ideally offsetting all of their electricity. And this is the really cool part. Usually the cost of the solar system is about half the price, or maybe 75% of the amount of money they'd be spending on electricity over the next 20 years anyway. So not only are they transitioning to a renewable source of energy, but they're saving money in the process. All right, so the solar industry is cool and everything, but how do you actually get into it? Well, there's a ton of job listings online, and the thing is with door-to-door jobs is that they usually don't require any kind of prior experience. They usually don't even require any kind of prior work experience, because you have to be a self-motivated person to get out there, knock on doors, and to close deals. I first got into solar about 4 or 5 months ago when I moved back here to Austin. I was looking for a job and I came across all these solar jobs online, decided to reach out, and well, it turned out all right. I didn't know anything about the industry at first, so I accepted a job to be an appointment setter. And what that is you basically just knock on doors and set appointments for a closer to come back at a later time and close a deal. For every appointment that we set up that gets closed is a $2,000 commission for us. So you do the math, you really don't have to have too many appointments closed in order to make a decent amount of money. Honestly, just one close today would be a $2,000 commission, a $2,000 day. And then about a week or two in, they actually raised the commission for the appointment setters all the way up to $2,500, which that's really not bad at all. If I knew how much the closers were making whenever I first started, I definitely would have opted in to be a closer. But what was really appealing about being an appointment setter is that all you do is knock on the doors and set the appointments. There's no customer relationships or management. There's no project management. There's no numbers. There's no calculations or any kind of meetings, nothing like that. All you do is just go out there, knock on doors, set appointments. If it closes, that's $2,500 right there. And it was fairly easy to set at least 1 or 2 appointments every single day. The craziest part is how much time and effort I actually put in. I was really only working about 25 hours a week over the course of 2 months. Over August and September, I was working from Tuesday through Friday from about 4 to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays from about 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So around 25 hours a week over the last 2 months of summer. And over that time, 18 of my appointments closed. 3 of those appointments closed the very first week when commissions were $2,000 each, which is $6,000 right there. And then 15 appointments closed once the commissions were increased to $2,500 each, bringing the total commissions to around $43,000 over 2 months of working part-time, which is just insane. That's not bad. Almost too good to be true, but I'll get more into that later. Something else that was really cool about the commissions is that you actually got $500 up front the minute that the contract was electronically signed on the tablet. So as soon as the client signed that contract, $500 was deposited right into your bank account, which was really nice. So what you'll do on a typical day as an appointment setter is you'll get in your car and put on some Grant Cardone, of course.
The successful don't think in terms of just hard work, even though they are, of course, willing to.
And then you'll drive out to a suburb around the area that you're living in. It's usually around 30 to 40 minutes away, depending on where you live. And by the way, I did not include that time into the weekly hours that I just mentioned. I was driving on average around an hour and a half each day, which isn't my favorite, but it was totally worth it at the time. And once you get out there, you take some caffeine, you'll get hydrated, put on some sunscreen, and well, start walking around in the sun, knocking on doors and meeting people. It really is a lot of fun. It really gets you out of your comfort zone. I mean, you're outside all day, just walking around some random neighborhood in a random town, walking up the random doors, knocking on the doors, introducing yourself, and just telling the homeowners about what you're doing out there. All right, so we get it. Solar's the perfect industry. Now what? Well, of course, we need to talk about the downsides because it's not a perfect industry at all. So you are outside all day, and during the summer, it gets really hot, especially here in Texas. It's over 100 degrees, and if you want to make money, you got to be out there, which I personally don't really mind that much. But I can see how it's not the healthiest thing, just standing out in the sun all day. And of course, in the winter, whenever it's cold, you're standing outside when it's cold all day. So there is that part to it as well. However, one issue that we ran into over this past year actually was a supply shortage on the solar panels. And you don't get your full commission until the panels are installed. So that was something that was very frustrating as I noticed that my commissions were being delayed. So there's that to it. And then on top of that, people can actually cancel as well before the system is installed. So if they were to cancel, then you don't get your full commission. Out of the 18 appointments that I set up, about 3 to 4 of them have canceled so far. So that right there is $6,000 to $10,000 just gone. With that said, though, I have been earning around $3,000 to $4,000 per month ever since I started back in August. And it all started with the $500 instant pay whenever the contracts were signed. $500 was deposited into my bank account, and then I'd get another $500 once the permitting was completed by the city or the town, and then the remaining amount of the commission once the solar system was actually installed. So that's how I started making around $3,000 to $4,000 in August, and then I worked through September and stopped working at the end of September because of the solar panel shortage. I wasn't sure how long that was going to last, but that's when the solar systems actually started getting installed. So although I wasn't working anymore, I still had commissions rolling in, and it's been between $3,000 and $4,000 every month since I started working in August, and this is now January. So from 2 months of work, continuous income coming in, not bad at all. I really have no idea when the commission payouts are going to stop. I don't know if anybody else has canceled their contracts. I don't know if we're going to have more solar panel shortages or anything like that. With that said, though, it's been pretty nice to have around $3,000 to $4,000 each month just deposited into my bank account. So door-to-door sales isn't for everybody, but I hope that y'all were able to see the opportunity that is out there. And I hope this video helped inspire y'all to show you a new way to make some money where you don't need a college degree or any kind of prior experience. You just need the motivation. And with that said, it's fantastic money for the amount of work that was put in. Like I mentioned, I was working on average 25 hours a week over the course of around 2 months and have consistently been paid out $3,000 to $4,000 ever since then. So this is month 5 right now. From 2 months of work I put in part-time, I've been paid out $3,000 to $4,000 every single month. It really just doesn't even make sense if you've ever worked another type of job, like at a restaurant, or if you've ever done Lyft or Uber or anything like that, and you know how those conditions are. It's really mind-blowing to think that you can work part-time and make this type of money. This isn't my first sales job, so like I mentioned before, if y'all have any questions about sales in general or door-to-door sales or anything like that, feel free to send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. You'll find my social media links in the description below. If you found any value in this video, hit the like button, and I will be making more videos in the future about other ways to make some money and how to invest and everything like that. So if you're into those sorts of things, go ahead and subscribe.